This is at Phillip Island, back straight off to the south, whipping up some winds today, plenty of sun around the track, soaking up some UV that is much needed to get these temperatures into these tyres, and we are ready to go racing for race 2 of the first Focus Radical Cup Australia here at the Shannon Speed Series, round 1 of 2025. Chris Stubbs with you alongside me once again. Antonio Studio. Antonio, welcome to you. Great to see you again. We are ready to go after what was a cracking first race yesterday. Plenty of drama involving our first two on track in Paddon and Cutts. They came to blows. For those who weren't watching yesterday and able to join us, Paddon copying a 5-second penalty, but still managing to get the win. Cooper recovering for second. You've been out and about in the paddock this morning, Antonio. It is cold and the wind is blowing from the south, and that's going to be a factor today, like it was in our previous race in the Ferraris. Yeah,
strong tailwind. You can see signs of that with all the SRO banners in the background being tossed towards the ocean there, turn 1, being down in the paddock. And although we've got some cold faces, they're all smiles and quite happy to get out there and get into another action-packed sprint race.
That's it. So to put a full stop on yesterday, the contact between the two title rivals in Paddon and Cutts, they haven't spoken to each other after the race, but that's not unusual. They pretty much stick to themselves and their own teams and do their own things. Of course, great respect there, but there's no issues between the pair, but they haven't spoken following the incident. Cooper did put a sneaky little post on his socials that was full of some sarcasm in there, just saying mint that he got punted. I can't actually see that post at the moment. We're just having some issues. We understand a problem for the Melinda Price and Kenny cars. So they were down in the pits just a few moments ago. So we'll keep an eye on them and whether they're able to get out there and be part of this race. This is the racetrack, one of the best, not just in Australia, Antonio, but in the world. You have raced it. How does it fare in conditions like this in a Radical Cup car? Oh,
it's an incredible circuit. In a car like the Radical, obviously wind today is going to play a major factor. Having spoken to a couple of the drivers, they hinted at that as well, a little bit of concern themselves, but massive downforce, and with the open sweeping corners, 12 of them here, you really get to make the most of that downforce. Formula One-like handling in those cars.
Whew, so this is a rolling start. That's the way we do it here in First Focus Radical Cup Australia. 25 minutes, so the clock starts now. We're ticking our time away. And this is where it all came unstuck yesterday between the front two. It was coming down into the southern loop. And I mean, the stewards had their call on it. Rubbing is racing. The contact was there. Cooper was a fair way in front. He copped his 5-second, but Paddon was fast enough to be out in front. But it's not a progressive grid, so we go back to our qualifying. So Cutts will start from the pole, Paddon alongside him. Terry Knowles, who had some issues yesterday in third from Chris Reiner, he'll complete the second row. Bradley Russell in the Radical from Melbourne, Chirillo champion Nakarada Morris, Claire Hernandez, Kenny. Now that car, Greg Russ just updating us, it has left the paddock. Chris Papadopoulos saying that the idle setting was giving them some problems, kept stalling. The engine doesn't sound perfect, but they think they have done their best to find a compromise and get out and get racing. Ibby Hadid had a problem late in yesterday's race from Andrew Connor. Sue Hughes in a newer spec car for her, Warwick Church, rounding out our field. Great grid sizes throughout 2024, averaging around 20, and good to see a nice bumper amount here today. So this is Miller Corner, the hairpin turn 4. It's a cracking place to go racing, but the wind here, it changes, doesn't it, directly from into your tail to hit your braking marker into 4, and then straight into your face as you come out.
Yeah, I guess what it alters there then is your braking marker. Having a bit of a headwind is going to slow your approach speed as they round turn 3 prior to the hairpin, and you find yourself braking a bit later to compensate for that top speed that's a bit down.
Antonio, you caught up with Paddon. What was the update that you got from him heading into this race?
Yeah, he seems in good spirits. He's just hungry for some competition. Obviously, you never want to see that outcome in which Cooper ended up off circuit, but he's here to race, and you know, these are safe, comfortable cars to drive, so he's going to make the most of the bodywork he's got around him, I guess.
And not too disappointed in terms to be starting this one from second.
Yeah, interestingly, you know, these cars have got massive amounts of downforce, and starting second puts him outside for turn 1, but you saw them hang side by side in the race prior, so if they can do it again, that means he's on the inside for turn 2.
All right, Pete telling me that they had a few problems with over-pressured rears, so he said the first 4 laps or so were proving to be a bit of an issue for him yesterday, so they'll have sorted that one out. So we look forward to seeing what he's capable of. But look at these two title combatants. We talk about the East versus the West. Cooper Cutts from Perth, the youngster, 22 years of age, finished runner-up to Peter Paddon, the veteran and multiple champion in this category. Side by side after the dramas of yesterday. Important, we're alongside each other for this rolling start. There's obviously procedures to follow around turn 12, and then they'll put the foot down and they'll head off down this iconic Gardner straight into the wind as we'll go racing into turn 1. Can we keep it clean? We saw yesterday there were some issues at turn 1 that caught out some of the best. So there's some drivers here with perhaps a little bit to make up for after yesterday. 60 points to Peter Paddon for the win yesterday. 2 points for pole and a fastest lap point for Cutts as we're away. So side by side down the Gardner Straight for lap 1 of the First Focus Radical Cup Australia race 2. Almost contact between the two of them. It's Cutts on the inside, Paddon looking to go around the long way. Can he keep himself in position? And he has, as we see cars off in the background. And that is the number 23 who's had the problem, Jimmy Hernandez, in his new car for Valente Rosso. But it's Peter Paddon who's been able to make it stick exactly as you said, Antonio. He stuck it fat around the outside and got the run into Southern Loop.
Yeah, obviously he's been manifesting that all night and he's made it happen. Mega effort there. You could see Cooper really just gave him that little bit of room he needed as per the rule book on entry to 1, but very clean racing and hard racing by Paddon there to make it stick.
Absolutely love these two, and the differences not just in their experience and age, but the pressures and situation. You've got the young gun at 22 years of age, of course, so much expectation around him and his talent and what's possible, versus a guy who's trying to hang on and say, hey, young dog, I'm still the top dog, don't you worry about that. But there's great respect between the pair of them, great racing craft between the pair of them, and contact down the straight or very close to made it a gripping first couple of corners.
Yeah, I think that little bit of a big lock up there, not what you want to have happen too early on. That's Melinda. I'm not sure where she started off. I saw her leaving pit lane at the rear of field there, so hopefully she got out of the right grid spot, but a bit of an early lock up there. Obviously still got 17 minutes of action remaining. Got to look after those tyres. Some might be carried over to this afternoon's Enduro, so a flat spot now could really hurt your result later on today.
And that's the thing too, tyre strategy, where you're using your tyres and where you're keeping your green rubber for is a factor in this, isn't it? Especially with some weather around?
Yes, of course. So some chats up and down the lane. Some people might be predicting that rain to arrive earlier than our phones are saying. So you really want to make use of the green tyres you've got now. Get them, get that use out of them. You don't want to be caught. Oh, that's a very deep lunge, but not quite close enough initially. Cooper obviously got some early race pace he's trying to make the most of.
So Cooper Cutts there, showing the nose and trying to have a look down the inside at Miller Corner, but unable to pull it off. But he's certainly keeping right in under the rear of Peter Paddon. And look at the gap that they've already got ahead of Avern in third place. Shout out again to Rory for his efforts. He's in third place at the moment. This is his national circuit racing debut. We welcome him to our series, and he did a great job yesterday when he managed to finish in 4th position after qualifying in 6th. So the experience is starting to show as he's working his way through the field.
Yeah, so at the moment you can see Cooper's well within the toe, which is a big, you can see he's made that move into turn 4. You've got the headwind. If you're in the toe, you're sort of, that headwind's void. So it's a bit of a cheat code there. Obviously down the straight, tailwind helping both cars. So we'll see if he's close enough this time round to show the nose once more.
So we're well underway in this one. Race 2, we've got a 50-minute endurance race this afternoon, which we're looking forward to as well, and the strategies and how they play out. So we're just seeing here Antonio pointing out on our timing monitors that it's actually Avern who's just set the best lap time of this race so far, 1:33.65. As Cooper Cutts has a look up the inside again on Peter Paddon. This is for the race lead. Can he make it stick on the exit there, side by side? So close to contact again. Peter Paddon has the inside running. Cooper Cutts now tries to get the cut back on the inside, but it's Paddon who in the end will remain in front as we head towards the hay shed. This is great racing.
Oh, he's right on his diffuser here. If you, it's tricky, so tricky to make a move on Lukey. You need to have a massive run, but that was mega racing. Shows how much you can really make the most of the downforce these cars produce, producing that side-by-side open wheel style racing.
Great racing by both Peter Paddon and also Cooper Cutts. They won 10 out of 12 races last year. They're in the beautiful XXR. It was a car that came to the series here in Australia last year as the 222 we see in the lane. That's Ibi Hadid. He was a DNF yesterday, having that late issue. We welcome him, the Canadian, living in Dubai, racing in the Golf Radical Cup there. As Cooper has a bit of a look down the inside into turn one, but decides to just stick the nose back in. He's carrying plenty of pace down into Southern Loop. Great racing by these two. Really the stars of the field in 2024. It certainly looks like it will be a similar story in 2025. Will Cooper have another look? Is he close enough to once again have a look up the inside? Pete will know he's coming. Cooper has a go again. Oh, they're coming close together. It's Cooper Cutts. Can he make it stick this time? He's far enough. He cuts across in front of Paddon, who ducks back to the outside. Cooper aggressive now into Siberia, and looks like this time Cooper Cutts, the 22-year-old series runner-up, has made it stick. It's Cooper Cutts who takes the lead of the race. First Focus Radical Cup Australia. Peter Paddon now has the task of responding as we head up to Lukey Heights.
Yeah, that was you can see Pete's got a bit of a run up here over Lukey, but a little bit too far back to try and claw back that position. Obviously still early on, but that was a big move by Cooper, obviously having to get it done early, not giving Pete too much of an opportunity to claw back at Siberia after the hairpin pass there, but he's obviously got to do something with his pace early on before perhaps the tables turn and tyre pressures come into play, and perhaps Paddon might reel him back in.
So Paddon would have known that was coming. He went as defensive as he could for as long as he could, but Cooper leaving that move until late. And Pete, of course, unable to move over once he was in that braking zone. So a great job by Cooper Cutts, really showing some smart racing IQ, wasn't it? He had to go a lap earlier, learnt from that, and then used that in his memory bank for the second time around. So Melinda Price, the 56, so good to see that they are continuing on their charge, and I say they because there are some multiple driver combinations. Melinda and Greg Kenny are one of those, their third year racing together. Great to see. Melinda, what a campaigner she has been over many years, and a real flag bearer for women in motorsport. But not just that, it's her own, regardless of gender, contribution that she's made to racing in Australia and to the Radical Cup grid in recent years in particular.
Yeah, so Ruri Avern also slowly chipping away at the gap to third place there.
Brad Russell in third, the Bradical. It's the branding he's had on the car for a couple of years, which we love. Bit of a character. There's so many characters in the paddock. They love what they're doing, and we're loving what we're watching here. So he's right in behind at the moment. Here's the 22 of Avern, looking to claw back that third place on the racetrack at the moment. What a result that would be. State champion karting, double degree in mechatronics and motorsport at Edith Cowan University in Perth. So a shout out to all the students from ECU that'll be watching on in Perth here on 7+ this morning.
Yeah, so obviously trying to just, he needs a couple more tenths to be within that toe on the straight. A bit closer here through turn two, really fast on entry. And of course now with that headwind into Honda, that's where you see the benefit of being tucked right into the diffuser of the car in front. So no doubt if he maintains this pace, we might see another little battle on our hands. As just disappearing out of picture there is Chris Reimler in the earlier model car, really hanging on to third position there, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, so you can see on the timing monitors at the moment, we've got Reindler in second position. There's a bit of an issue with Cooper Cutts with his timing chip, his beacon in his car. So, of course, he is in second at the moment. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at the timing monitors, the totem on the left-hand side of your screen. Ibi Hadid, an update from pit lane. Broken upright in that car. So he is out, perhaps a bit of follow-on from yesterday. So up the inside of Vern, looking to make this one stick. Can he do so around the outside into turn 12? That's a tough place to make it work. And can that now impact his momentum and the speed as he goes down Gardner Straight? So some good driving there from Brad Russell.
Yeah, that little battle took place a bit sooner than I was expecting. Made up a lot of ground over Lukey Heights there. You can see the commitment from Ruri. Real, for a young driver, really making the most of his national level radical debut.
So the 47 there of Peter Clare. Beautiful looking car. I love the livery, the way they've turned this one out once again. It's his first time going solo. It was with Josh Hunt. Of course, Josh Hunt, the director of Valente Rosso. They've got a busy weekend here with cars in multiple categories. Nakarada is there behind him, chasing him down. Good drive from him yesterday, finishing in 7th place. So at the moment, we have just under 9 minutes remaining, and it's Cooper Cutts leading from Peter Paddon, Reindler in third. So a beautiful day at Phillip Island, cool and breezy conditions. But this First Focus Radical Cup Australia race number 2, this 25-minute run this morning is providing plenty of great action so far. That fight for the lead between Cutts and Paddon. Cutts eventually getting it done. It took him a few laps, but he leads this race. A stellar job from him in the XXR. And it's quite a gap now too, isn't it? 1.8 seconds. He's really got the foot down and making the most of the clean air at the front of this field.
Yeah, extended his lead to almost 2 seconds now. Fastest lap, sub 30, so 1:29.7 from Cooper. Very fast lap time. Obviously premium track conditions for lap times at the moment, but still have to try and look after those tyres if they're part of the tyre bank for the Enduro later on this afternoon.
As we said yesterday, Cutts has got Andre Heimgartner, Supercars star, helping him. His engineer for the weekend. Macaulay Jones also there with the Rise Racing. The Rise super busy as well with so many cars here this weekend. Always great to have them here in the paddock at Phillip Island. So, sorry, you go.
Yeah, Steve Champion doing putting together a mega effort to hold off Melinda here on charge. You could see she showed the nose there into turn 1, but he's sort of got eyes forward at the moment, trying to hit his markers and maintain that top 10 result at the moment.
Good to see Stephen Champion. He's raced in the Radicals in Portimao in the World Cup final there. P9, a top 10 finish, and that's what we love about Radicals, is that you can go and race overseas. These cars, they come out of Europe and you can race around the world, and that's what Ibi Hadid is doing. He's having a go in a few different series around the globe, and just means you can get a real showing of where you're at, can't you, in similar machinery?
Yeah, of course, and a lot of these drivers follow the prototype pathway, go into the likes of LMP3 overseas, and it's good to be amongst it. Like, say, Cooper, Ruri, they're definitely in the right paddock if that's the pathway they're trying to pursue.
Already seen some records broken or equalled this weekend. Cooper Cutts with his pole position. That's his 5th, equaling him with Jordan Ond and Alex Gardner, while the 9th win yesterday for Peter Paddon equals him at the top of the leaderboard with Alex Gardner since this series was founded in 2022. So Cooper Cutts leading the way, the 22-year-old West Aussie in this East versus West battle against Peter Paddon. It was Cutts who qualified on pole on Friday, But it was Paddon who got the win yesterday after that contact. And he had enough margin up his sleeve regardless of the 5-second penalty. But they're at it again in this one. So this is the 18, the radical Brad Russell being chased down by Auvergne.
Yeah, back on the hunt. These guys have been dicing for a little bit now. The timing monitors show Russell still setting some green sectors, so a little bit of life left in the tyres, a bit more pace, obviously trying to maintain that P5 he's in currently. Valuable points for the season.
Oh, problem for Champion. This is really disappointing for Stephen. We were just talking about him before and his efforts overseas. We've put the Mozza on him once again. Antonio is smiling. Welcome to the commentary curse, Antonio. In the meantime, though, we're going to head down to pit lane. Isabella Leenbruggen.
Yeah, driver in his own right, but this weekend coach to Cooper Cutts. Are you impressed with how he's handled himself in this race so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. Yesterday we were just a little bit soft and yeah, Paddon was bit him up a bit, but today yeah, it's good to be back. I think we were pretty G'd up this morning. I was trying to word him up on what to do, and look, he's executed it really well. We had the pace over Paddon yesterday, just couldn't quite get it done, and then today obviously we've so far so good. So yeah, it's cool to see them battling out there. I think they are obviously the two championship contenders, so yeah, sort of racing for a bit of pride between the two now. It was a good battle last season, and it looks like it's continue on here.
What did you make of the contact between Paddon and Cutts yesterday and the penalty that ensued?
Yeah, it's all just part of it, I think. Like, obviously there was contact which forced Cooper off, and the penalty didn't really fit what happened to Cooper, but that's just how it is sometimes, and sometimes you're on the good end of it, sometimes you're on the bad end, but the main thing is that we just came out today firing, and if we can close this one out, then it's all happy days.
And does the plan of attack change much for the longer race later this afternoon?
Not really, no. We've saved our tyres for the longer race, so we're using some more used set now. I think Paddon's used greens in this, so yeah, it's just hold on, hopefully it doesn't rain, and try and win the last one as well.
Andre Heimgartner, thanks for your time.
Beautiful, thank you.
Well, that just feeds into what we were saying earlier, wasn't it, Antonio? The word from the Radicals paddock about that rain and who holds off and who uses their greens early in case the rain arrives, or who gambles that it's not going to turn up. And, well, Andre's just told us where it's at with Cooper, but that's super impressive then. If Peter Paddon's got the greens on and he's got an older set himself, Cooper, these times and his performance, we have to tip our hat.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure he's got greens, but then again, maybe Paddon's got everyone fooled, so I don't want to spoil. Who knows, maybe a last-minute tyre change before he's gone out. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. A bit of strategy to play out throughout the weekend.
Yep.
A bit of luck with the rain.
That's it. We did see a quick shot there of Sue Hughes. So Sue's out there, one of our couple of female competitors. She's in the 32, and she's really been struggling a little bit with the new car, just getting her head around it as we watch this battle on screen at the moment. But Sue just saying that the move up for her into a newer car, she used to really have to manhandle the old one, or woman handle or person handle the old one, but this one she's having to be far more gentle with the inputs into the steering in particular. So just getting that balance, and we do have a mix of newer and older machinery out here on track at the moment. So fascinating that Sue, someone who's been around for such a long time, is still learning and still enjoying the challenges that come with racing. So some great battles on track at the moment. So this is rejoining the one between Brad Russell and Auvergne. The margin is close.
Yeah, you can distinguish the later model, current model car, I should say, from any previous gen by the little shark fin on the engine cover there. Sort of like 2018 style F1 looking LMP. So you'll notice that on the 18 car there. You can see the very pronounced shark fin behind the driver's cockpit. Ruri's car lacking that, being a slightly earlier model. So good effort by Ruri to be hanging on there to Russell, challenging for a pass, as it seems like they're actually catching, is that Knowles in front there? Yep.
Great recovery drive from Knowles. He was caught up in the incident at turn one in the first of our races yesterday. He's managed to work his way back up through the field in yesterday's race, and so far today it looks like he's tracking along well. Third in the series yesterday. He managed to finish 8th in the race one. third in the series in 2024. So he's continuing to improve and sits in fourth at the moment.
Yeah, so Ruri is catching Russell, who's catching Knowles, as we've got side by side into Lukey Heights. That's a very big move from Warwick Morris. I saw him earlier on have a big slide out. Honda pushing pretty hard to try and catch Melinda. He's bombed in a little bit hot there into MG, but still, I wonder if these guys, yeah. So there will be another lap on the cards, another 2 laps. But he's created himself a big gap there, so I think he's safe for the moment.
So the gap at the moment from Cooper Cutts back to Peter Paddon as we reach our concluding stages of this race is at 1.5 seconds. So he's done a great job so far, Cooper, of managing this margin. He's continuing out in front. And here we again see the battle for the third place on the podium. Oh, he's dropped a couple of wheels off there. That was a pretty wild moment. But managing to keep it together on track as everyone fights for these final positions and a couple of extra points that could prove all important when we get to our final race of the season.
On the defense there. They've really bunched up here.
As here we have Cooper Cutts coming down to the line for the last lap of this race. The margin now over 2 seconds back to Peter Paddon as Cooper looks to fight back from the disappointment of yesterday's race. It's the 22. Vern's there. This is a good little battle pack. Been enjoying this one. For the final time, they swing down into turn 1. Russell in the white car in the middle. Moore is there in the mix as well. They're pressing on, Antonio.
Yeah, so that little defensive move there's bought Moore a little bit of time, but at the same time he's just gone and set his fastest lap of the race. So now I think it's all gloves off. Vern really racy. Russell again on the defense, which is buying Moore that precious time that he needs to try and maintain that final podium position. Ruri, of course, has the pace to try and challenge it, but just has that one car in between him and that podium position.
Well, right up in behind is Brad Russell, trying to get as much of a toe as he can around the back, so he's got one eye forward, one eye backwards. This is great racing. He goes wide, defensive Brad, perhaps trying to have a look around the outside as we head down into MG. They're almost 3 wide, but in front, he's still going defensive and holding them off. Is Knowles using all his experience onto the final turn. Turn 12, 2 wide. That could end in tears. And here is crossing the line there. The checkered flag is out. So a big congratulations to Cooper Cutts, who fights back from yesterday to get one up on Peter Paddon. It's Cutts, the 22-year-old, the youngster, who gets the victory at Phillip Island in race 2. From Peter Paddon, Moore holds on for 3rd. Knowles got the best of the battle for 4th. Russell, Avern, Allen, Clare, Nakarata, and then Morris will round out the top 10. So that was another fantastic battle. Congratulations to Cooper Cutts. Really mature drive from him, wasn't it, Antonio? Andre Heimgartner perhaps on the cans there, helping him with a little bit of information, guiding him through that one, but let's take nothing away from his own performance in the car.
Yeah, exactly what he needs to do after yesterday's race, exactly where he wants to be leading into this afternoon.
So 60 points to Cooper Cutts for the victory. Peter Paddon will take the 54 in second. Bryce Moore on the podium in the older spec car. Another great drive from Bryce. Congratulations to him. Terry Knowles in 4th. Brad Russell in the Bradical 5th. Avern 6th. Allen 7th. Peter Clare 8th. Nakarata 9th. And Warwick Morris fighting on and rounding out our top 10. So that's race 2 of the First Focus Radical Cup Australia concluded. A 50-minute enduro to come later this afternoon. We are very much looking forward to that race as the wind continues to blow at Phillip Island for day 2 of the Shannon Speed Series for 2025. So Antonio, that was another gripping race for the First Focus Radical Cup Australia. It was Peter Paddon who was able to make it stick, wasn't he, off the start? It's the rolling start, and you previewed it after your chat with Pete, saying that he did not mind starting from the wider position, and he certainly made the most of it.
Yeah, as we see here, sort of manifested that move all night by the sounds of it. Just got given enough room to stick around the outside on entry of one, and yeah, making the most of that downforce he has available in the radical, parking it on the inside. Obviously a bit of a spill in the background, but Cooper and Pete giving each other enough room in turn 2 this time to continue the battle.
That was Hernandez who was caught up in that turn 1 spill, but Peter Paddon managed to make it stick until this moment when Cooper Cutts went up the inside on his second attempt at doing so. He learned the lesson from the lap before. They went side by side, Paddon fighting back. This was that first attempt to get it done, but Paddon showed his experience and said, no, I'll make you try that second time around. So it looked like a replay, but no, this was the very next lap, and this time Cutts did get it done after learning those lessons from the lap before. Peter tried to get the cut back, but couldn't get it done on Cutts, and Cutts held firm at the front and took the race lead, and he wouldn't look back. That was a great bit of racing.
That was mega, yeah, sort of squeezed him a little bit on the exit there, I'm sure, all in fairness, but really had to make the most of his early race pace. A bit unfortunate there.
For Stephen Champion, yeah, winding up on the side of the road and having to move to the pits. Indy likewise unable to finish this one. That was the moment, getting the right-hand side of the car off track. There were great battles throughout the field. This one in particular, we enjoyed. It was the 68 of Terry Knowles having to fight off Russell behind him. It was a great battle, but it was Cooper Cutts who would greet the checkered flag and take the race victory. Race 2, First Focus Radical Cup Australia. And he will be our championship leader for the moment. Let's get down and hear from Isabella. Bella.
Thanks, joined alongside our race winner there, Cooper Cutts. Cooper, that must have been a nice result. You were denied the win yesterday to come out and score one early today.
Yeah, yesterday was very frustrating for the team. Obviously, got through to the lead and then had that little moment with Pete. So I woke up today, I told myself that there was no way that I was going to lose. So managed to get the job done. It was hard racing, but it was clean today, so that's all that mattered. So
was that extra fire in the belly yesterday after the collision and the penalty that ensued?
Yeah, for sure. It was frustrating, but these things happen. It is racing. If I didn't want contact, I'd still be playing tennis. So, yeah.
And looking ahead to the endurance race later this afternoon, does the strategy change much?
Yeah, it definitely does. There's definitely a lot more to think about with tyre. Managing the tyres for the first stint, but we'll just see what happens. I've done them before, so we'll see how we go.
Well done. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. Some red mist racing there from Cooper Cutts. He was fired up from yesterday and he's got the job done. He also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.76. Congratulations, Cooper Cutts, our victor in First Focus Radical Cup Australia. We've got plenty more great action coming your way. Monochrome GT4 Australia Series Race 2, that's next from the Shannon Speed Series at Phillip Island.